How many of you feel happy that you get enough to eat every day? Very nice. How many of you know that how many pairs of clothes do you have? Exact number. Exact. These many pairs of clothes I have. Very good. Normally, kind of responses I get in the workshop. 10%, 5% people know that how many pairs of clothes you have. 85, 90% yet to be counted. So there's an exercise today. Particularly those who are day scholar for this workshop, you're going home in the evening. When you go home in the evening, open your all cupboards, your wardrobe, your suitcase, your briefcase, all those places where you're keeping your dresses, like your clothes, and count each cloth. Okay? Count each cloth. How many of you are going to do this exercise? Tell me. How many of you are going to do this exercise tonight? Counting the clothes. It's a very simple exercise. None? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, 15 of you are going to do this exercise. In the tea break, here you have that cup and saucers. This is one of the workshops where the tea was being served in the paper glass. And in the tea break, we went outside, we were having a tea with engineering faculty. So I just had a sip of tea, and then I asked the faculties around me, how much tea is there in this cup? So they started looking here and there, and one faculty very confidently said, 160 milliliter. I said, fine, thank you. Must have calculated, right? The radius, diameter, depth, height, everything, 160 milliliter. I said, if I remove the base, then, because this glass was made up of paper, I could easily tear it off. Then, how much? If I do not know how many pairs of clothes I have, how will I be able to know that I have more, or I have less, or I have enough? Right? So it's important to know how many pairs of clothes I have. At least, if you will get a number and see that whether you have less. If you have less, go for shopping. At least your shopping list will be ready. But if you have more, then that feeling itself, brings the prosperity within, that I have more than my required clothes.
I want to be happy always. Then how can I take my stress? How many is that?
Yeah, before that you bring her to the workshop. Yeah, see, that's the reason I said count your clothes. Don't count the clothes of your husband or your wife. Silently do this exercise for yourself, and don't tell the things to the others. Don't impose. This is a proposal. Okay, this is a proposal.
Come to UHV to escape from his wife.
Okay.
So the sentence you gave was like that. After 1 week, I have to go home. So I could see a lot of sorrow in that.
Okay, so this is also required, this is also required, and this is also required. But what is the priority number one? The priority number one is right understanding. With right understanding, I can have right feeling. With right feelings, my right thoughts get developed, and with the right thoughts get translated into my right living. So that is happy living, right? So with the right understanding and right feeling, I am happy. With the right understanding, I'm able to do the correct assessment of my required physical facility. I can identify my required physical facility. How many pairs of clothes do I need to have? We'll do that identification today and tomorrow also for this. But with this right understanding in physical facility, I remain prosperous. And this is how I can fulfill the basic aspiration of continuity of happiness and prosperity. Are you able to see that happiness and the prosperity are totally different things? Two different things. And they're totally different. The prosperity is an outcome of the right understanding and the physical things. Happiness is the outcome of right understanding and feelings. So the prosperity comes from things and happiness comes from feelings. These are two different things. And we need all these three: right understanding, relationship, and physical facility. In this set priority order. But if my priority is number one, if the physical facility is the priority number one, then this is like an animal, right? And if I'm living with such sort of consciousness, this is what is called the animal consciousness. And this living with an animal consciousness is not enough for the human being. It is adequate for the animals. This is what is called the human consciousness. So what is the human consciousness? Right understanding, relationship, and physical facility, all these three in the set priority order. That is the reason when we see animals living with the animal consciousness, do you have any issues? No problem, right? They are in harmony. Human being living in human consciousness, do you have any problem? No problem. They are in harmony. The problem is that human being living with animal consciousness, they are in disharmony, and this is the problem. That's the reason if you see around us, there are two categories of the people can be seen in the society. The category number one, lacking physical facility, unhappy and deprived. There is no enough food to eat, no proper shelter, very unhygienic conditions to live. So they are unhappy and deprived. The other category of the people is having physical facility, unhappy and deprived. Almost every day, we get to see such kind of news. The news belongs to the second category. Lot of name, lot of fame, fan club, following, but still commit the suicides. What do you think? What could be the reason, despite of having so much of wealth, people commit the suicides?
Lack of relationship.
Is it due to the lack of physical facility or lack of relationship? So, having physical facility, unhappy and deprived; lacking physical facility, unhappy and deprived. Where do you want to be? In one or in two? What our education is trying to do? Our education is trying to bring number one into number two. Correct? And that is what we call the development. What is development? Bring the number one people into the category of number two. Development. Education. Things are happening good. But we want to be in the category number three. Having physical facilities, happy and prosperous. And this is the role of education. So the role of education is to enable the transformation from the animal consciousness to the human consciousness. And this transformation is the progress. This is development. If you keep increasing and enhancing this circle only, can you call it as a development? Making this only bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So the transformation from this current state to this desirable state, this is called development. And I think this is the role of education. This is the major role of a teacher, to help students in their transformation. And for that, a teacher needs to take efforts for his or her own transformation. And this transformation to the human consciousness is called holistic development. And this is the whole responsibility and the role of education, is to enable the transformation into the human consciousness. And for this, these three things need to be ensured. Number one, right understanding and right feeling in every individual. What do you think? This right understanding and right feeling is required in only you or in every individual? In every individual. But this is possible, and this is only possible through education. The capacity to live in relationship with other human beings. Number three, the capacity to identify the need of physical facilities. Even after graduating from a reputed institution, are we be able to identify the need of our physical facilities? Are we able to identify how many pairs of clothes do I need to have? You're not being able to identify, right? So this capacity building is also required, wherein the students can be able to identify their need of physical facility. They will be able to do the correct assessment of it. And then the development of the skills and the practices for sustainable production for more than what is required, leading to the feeling of prosperity. When we look into the current curricula, largely number 1 and number 2 is missing out. Right? The development of right understanding and right feeling through education is missed out. The capacity to live with the feeling of relationship has also missed out from the education. Number 3 is partially addressed because we are developing skills to accumulate more and more, but that identification of the need of the physical facility is also missing out. And then the willingness to produce by the way of labor is also missing out. Once we were interacting to IIIT Hyderabad students, final year students, and then we asked them what you want to be after graduating from IIIT. The students were sharing many things, and one student have articulately he said, after passing out from this college, I want to have a good job. Okay, what is the meaning of good job? It's the big package, and if possible, no work. This is how the mindset we are developing through the education. What sort of mindset is getting developing through the education? Is no work, no labor, no effort, only salary and facilities, right? So all these three things are largely missing out, and for that, the efforts are required to ensure the human education. So if you work on human education, this human education will help us to develop and transform the human being to live with human consciousness. Such human being will be able to understand their values, which means will be able to understand their participation into all the 4 levels, starting from individual, family, society, and nature, and existence. And they will live with the human conduct, that is what is expected, the human character, and participate into making of humane society. And each one of us have a desire to have this human society. So ultimately, it will result into a human tradition from one generation to the another generation. So when we say the understanding, right understanding, what does it mean? Right understanding, which means understanding harmony in individual, family, society, nature, and existence. So understanding harmony in individual, family, society, nature and existence, this is the meaning of right understanding. With such right understanding, the right feeling will get developed. This right feeling will give direction to the right thoughts, and the living will be right, the fulfilling living. Any question here? Any confusion?
Suppose happiness only will fulfill the physical facility. So I think. So once we get the physical facilities, automatically it will come to the state right understanding. Suppose I go like this, and before I come to Chennai, I worked in Tirunelveli city. I got salary is only 12,000. So after appointment as SRMIST assistant professor, just my salary is little bit increased. That onwards, the relations will be more happiness with my mother and my father and my brother and some other things, even my wife also. So from once we will get the physical facility, that time we will understand proper manner. But I think I am strong against about right understanding. But understanding ourselves okay. But why can't you understand others in the right manner? But exactly the right now what you are thinking exactly I don't know. But similarly you don't understand about what we are thinking. From my perspective I think it's like that. But there is a more toughest one right to understanding others. Very, very toughest. But we are not God. We are a human being. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that is the reason I have been saying that. Refer to the natural acceptance and try and understand what we all are, desired to be. What you are saying is right. If you follow your acceptance, then our likeness and dislikeness will be very different. But if you refer to the natural acceptance, then it remains same. Same for each one of us.
Sir, actually physical facility you can measure. That is, you can quantify it. But right understanding or that a relationship, it cannot be quantified. It can be qualitative nature only. So how to differentiate these two? Because we are putting these three. We can make these three as a three axis, X, Y, Z mean. Definitely what you are giving is overlapping of these three. For example, if it is animal conscious mean one-dimensional one. It is only up to the physical facility only. But if we come to the human, so we are seeing the overlapping between the X, Y, Z. So in what extent we can assume this one is correct? What type of overlapping is correct for the human?
Yeah, I mean something which is required temporarily, it can be measurable. For example, you can count how much amount of food is required, right? But something which is required continuously, every moment, it's qualitative. So the difference between these two, that this is a qualitative need of human being,
Yeah.
and this is a quantitative need of human being.
Yes.
Right? So the quantitative need is always a temporary and limited need. But the qualitative is a continuous need. So out of these two, this is our continuous need. Right understanding and relationship is the continuous need of human being. Physical facility is the temporary need of human being. Right? For example, if you are not hungry, do you want respect or not? You are hungry, you want respect or not? You are eating food, you want respect or not? After the meal, respect or not? So the respect is required every moment. The food is required every moment. Is the food continuous need of human being? No, right? The food is required temporarily. That's an intermediate need. We had lunch and now we may have dinner, right? But while having the lunch, while having the dinner, and between the lunch and dinner also the respect is required. Okay? So this is a qualitative need. This is a continuous need. That is the reason this becomes the higher priority over the physical facility. When I asked you to prioritize, you said 1, 2, 3. Why you said 1, 2, 3? Because this is continuous need and this is a temporary need. If you fulfill the higher priority, the lower priority get naturally fulfilled. You know, if you have this right understanding and relationship, the physical facility get naturally fulfilled. But if you are missing these two, then there may be a trouble here also. Right? That's the reason, if the right understanding is missing out, then despite of having a lot of physical facility, we are not able to identify and do the assessment that how much is required. So that feeling of deprivation always remains. So what you're saying is right. This is qualitative and this is quantitative. Quantitative things can be measured. Even qualitative things also, if you be a very observant of your own self, you can measure that how many seconds you are happy and how many seconds you are unhappy. But for that you have to be, keep observing your own self, keep observing your feelings and understanding. You'll be able to observe, you'll be able to see very clearly that you are in a state of harmony now, you are in a state of disharmony now. And it's important things to make an account of it. We are very particular about making our bank statement and account. How much is there, how much is needed. Similarly, by becoming aware of our own self, by becoming aware of our own feelings, we can also make an account that how many moments, how many seconds, how many minutes, how many hours in the day I was in a harmony, and how many hours in a day I was in disharmony.
Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, you told that for maintaining social harmony and happiness, the hierarchy is right understanding, relationship and physical activity. Since you are involved in a UHV program, please explain what is the breaking point to break this hierarchy, sir.
What is
the breaking point so that we can able to reverse this process?
Reverse means you want to make this as a number one?
If you tell the breaking point, no sir, if you tell the breaking point so that we can able to avoid that situation, sir. So that we can maintain 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you just ask, simple questions you can ask to yourself. Start asking this question. You want to be happy every moment? Yes, no? Yes. Yes, okay. Start doing this observation. Does this alone can make you happy? Do this observation. Okay? If you have a house and if you think that the big house will make you happy, get the loan, construct a bigger house. Okay? And shift in the bigger house. And see that after shifting to the bigger house, that first 1 month, every moment you are happy, unhappy. Sometimes happiness is there, sometimes unhappiness is there. We need to do this observation. And for that you don't have to build a big house. You don't have to shift, right? You just need to be aware of your own feelings. You just need to be aware of your own thoughts. You just need to be aware of your own behavior. Start observing your own behavior, that how many times in a day you are transferring irritation outside. You're shouting, you're doubting, you're yelling. How many times a day? If you start doing this observation, that will be the breaking point. Immediately you will break and you will understand what would be the priority. Okay?
Dr. Anand from SRMIST. Sir, this hierarchy is applicable for continuing the existing relationship. If I want to start a new relationship, will this hierarchy is applicable, sir? Because if I want to marry a girl,
I got your question.
Okay, the parents may look into the physical facility first. Even though he or she is a good in name, good in character, the parents definitely look into the physical facility. So what is the observation about this point, sir?
Yeah. See, that's a very interesting question. Interesting, important and practical question, right? Yeah. See, that's important question because like he said, he wants to marry, and normally when we think of marriage of our children, what do we focus? Where do we focus? That's it. Because what is our assumption that this is enough? But now we are able to see that this is priority number 3. The higher priority is the clarity of relationship, and the topmost clarity, the priority is the clarity. So still you have chance, right? Yeah. Still you have chance. Whenever you will see the proposal, try to see that all these 3 things are there.
Traditional culture, like we go for the traditional cultures. So
that is what I'm saying. Even in the traditional culture, there are girls, right? The girls are there in the traditional culture. The girls are there in the modern culture also. Even in the traditional culture, even in the modern culture, you will find a girl who is having these 3. So just not look at here. Look at here too, and look at here too.
Actually, sir, he is ready to look at though in this way, what you think. But the parents are interested to
Yeah, then only 2 solutions. Number 1 solution, if possible, before the wedding, attend the workshop. If not, after the wedding, immediately attend the workshop. See, that is what I'm saying. If it is not possible to attend the workshop before the wedding, then immediately after the wedding, attend the workshop.
Sir,
Because this right understanding is required for every individual. Okay.
Just to answer Professor Anand, today being Rajinikanth's birthday also, that's why he has always told, Vanga Padagala, no? So do that, do an understanding and then go for it. No? It will work out.
but dowry is illegal. He's saying physical, but
Okay, so this is the meaning of education. Education, which means understanding. Understanding harmony at each of this level. This education developed our sanskar. So what is the meaning of sanskar? Sanskar means the practice and the preparation and the commitment for living. So based on our understanding and feeling, our sanskar get developed. This sanskar is basically the actual living. So when it comes to our being, this is the state of our being. This is the scope of our living. So if I understand harmony at all the levels of my being, I can live in harmony at all the levels of my living, which leads to the mutual happiness and prosperity. And this is what is called the human consciousness.
Not self-aware. So we have to.
Yeah, see, okay, what is the meaning of sanskar? Let me give a small example. You are walking on the street and you see an advertisement of a film, right? So what is happening? That input of the film is going to your imagination. And then you do the preparation of watching the film. When to go, what time to go, where to go, in movie hall or at home, with whom. And then you actually see the movie, right? And then you actually see the movie. So what has happened, that input which is coming is education, and the practice, the preparation and the commitment with according to the input you are doing, it's called sanskar. So sanskar is the practice of living, the preparation of living, the commitment for living. Okay? So if you have human education, the human sanskar will get developed. If there is inhuman education, the inhuman sanskar will get developed. Okay? Let me give one simple example. See, there are 3 prominent fears are considered for the human being. 3 prominent fears. Number 1 is the fear of natural calamities. Right? Recently we had here. But that fear of natural calamity, due to the advancement in technology, predictions, we can predict, we can shift the people, and we can minimize the impact of the natural calamity, and that is what is happening everywhere these days. The second is the fear of wild animal. Right? How many of you have encountered with the wild animal directly? Meeting with an elephant, I mean lion or tiger?
No, sir.
No. But still we have fear, right? Still we have that fear of wild animal. In fact, what do you think? You have fear of wild animal or wild animals are having fear from you? I don't know. At least, whenever I go to the national park, those reserve forests, I see a big board, signboard. Do not torture the wild animals. Don't disturb them, right? The third is the fear of inhuman behavior of human being. The fear of inhuman behavior of human being. Out of these three, which one is more predominant? Inhuman behavior of human being, right? You are not assured how the other person will react or respond. Correct? So this inhuman behavior of human being is increasing upon. It's increasing day by day because the inputs which are required as an education, if this is inhuman, then the inhuman sanskar will get developed. And it will reflect into inhuman living. But if you have this human input here, then the human sanskar will get developed. And this will reflect into the human living. So what the whole focus is required is development of this human education. Any question?
With regard to the right understanding, as a teacher, if my student gives an assignment, I correct the assignment and give it. Okay, that's a kind of right behavior. Okay, my professionalistic behavior is sometimes dominating my family also. Okay, so for example, if a statement is being given or given by my father or my wife, okay, I see rather than seeing the content of it, I started checking the past tense, present tense. All these professionalistic behavior are intervening in my family also. How to stop it?
Yeah. Today we are just trying to, understand our basic aspiration and how to fulfill our basic aspiration. Your question is about you and the others, the human relationship. So I think on the day 2 last session onwards and the day 3, complete day 3, I kept for understanding human relationship. So during that time we'll talk on this particular issue.
About human living and inhuman living. And inhuman living with inhuman behavior it's increasing now. No, sir. In that case, normally, as of human aspirations are concerned, we want to be happy, and that is internal harmony, and that should be continuous. Nice, sir. Right. So, inhuman, it's something like extremely opposite. Right. So, at once when the humans are boredom with happiness, they will react inhuman.
See, if a human is trying to develop and live with the human consciousness,
yes,
living in the human consciousness is more harmonious, then why he or she will try to live as an inhuman?
That is what, sir. Actually, that kind of intention. Normally, no, we are feeling that internal harmony, okay, I'm okay with that. So my everything is harmonized actually. That is what we are feeling it actually, and we are enjoying it, and we want it to be continuous, right? Not no, sir. But the very critical parameter in our mindset is things will not satisfy us till the end, even the happiness also, because it is something like a critical thing. I have told it it's a critical thing only, but it is not actual. So how it can be understood? And I do have a question mark in my mind.
Yeah, that can be understood by referring to our natural acceptance continuously.
Right, sir.
And not accepting the things.
That means once you are going into the saturation point, try to seek the natural acceptance, and that will give you the answer for that.
Yeah, referring to the natural acceptance every moment, not only before or after reaching to the saturation point.
We are always saturated. Nice, sir. Thank you.
Every moment.
Thank you.
Every moment.
But in the case of the relationship, you are not saying anything about whether it's a good relationship or best. Likewise, it is not coming. Do you have any reason?
Yeah, there is there in the small bracket relationship with human being. The relationship with human being is clearly mentioned here. Okay, and that is what we are going to, this is what we need to unfold, and we are going to unfold on the day 3 with a lot of detailing, that what is the meaning of relationship. What do we expect in the relationship? So what we expect in the relationship is basically the feelings. So if you want, you may write down here right feelings.
Yeah.
So right understanding, right feelings. Okay.
Right feelings. Okay.
Right feelings.
Thanks.
But they're always right. So that's the issue there. Using this word right. Understanding may be a right or a lack of rightness, but the feelings are always right. So in case of feeling, there are 2 possibilities. Either you have this right feelings or the lack of right feelings. For example, fear. So the fear is the lack of trust. So the trust is the right feeling. So trust is a feeling, and it's a definite feeling. Okay, particular session, I'll just quickly recap before we go for the break. That the basic human aspiration is the continuity of happiness and prosperity. And for the fulfillment of this basic human aspiration, what do we require to have this right understanding in the self, the feelings, and then physical facility. So right understanding, relationship, and physical facility in the set priority orders develops us to live with happiness and prosperity in continuity. Now all these things are going to happen in the self, by the self, and there is no dependency outside. So if there is no dependency on my happiness outside, I can ensure the continuity of my happiness, and I can be happy every moment. But if there is dependency on your happiness, can you be happy every moment? Can you make you happy every moment? Okay, we are going to go for the break. In the break, keep exploring on one particular part, and then we'll open our discussions by sharing, listening to your exploration. In the break, keep thinking on what makes you happy. What is your happiness? Okay, keep thinking on that. Thank you.
Happy is when I'm spending time with my children.
Okay.
That too, my 3-year-old child.
Okay, good. Spending time with others, children, 3 years old child, friend.
So, actually, no, we may assume things because of preconditioning or natural acceptance. Shall we take it in that way?
Natural acceptance is something which is innate. Now, when I verify my preconditionings on the basis of the natural acceptance,
yes,
okay, and I try to live on the basis of accordingly, now my assumptions will be definite. When I don't verify, when I work only on the basis of the assumptions, they may be correct, they may not be correct.
That is what. So it may happen out of preconditioning or natural acceptance. Yes, sir? Because actually, no, you have told no, the completeness of the particular content, reality, or may not. So that is the case. Even in that case, that reality might not be showing the completeness of the fact.
In fact, you can keep this open. During the next session, when we try to explore the sources of my imagination, so there probably you will be able to get the answer for this. Whatever my imagination is, that is governed by the preconditioning senses and natural acceptance. As now I explore, okay, and when this knowing part is activated, then I'll be resolved. So this is what we are saying, that knowing through the self-verification on the basis of the natural acceptance. Maybe whatever preconditioning is there, when I try to verify that, and what is happening right now, I am working in this domain. Preconditionings, they may be correct, or you can say, or they may not be correct. So what happens whenever you can say this part is there, that they may not be correct, I'll be in problem.
So assumption need not be definite also.
Yes?
So assumption need not be definite also.
Assumption we are saying that is acceptance.
That is what. Need not be definite also.
Conduct we are saying is definite. Assumption means this particular part, that acceptance part, what we are saying. Yes?
I got it actually. I got the point. The
Are you able to see this? Yes? Now sum up. The human being is a coexistence of the self, that is consciousness, and the body material. Human being is not mere a body. Human being is a coexistence of self and the body. The needs of the self and the body are of two different types, and they have to be fulfilled separately. The need of the self is continuous happiness. Need of the body is a physical facility. The need of the consciousness is fulfilled by the activity of the consciousness. It cannot be fulfilled by the material. The needs of the material is fulfilled by material only. A gross misunderstanding is to assume that human being to be a body, that is a material, and to assume that all the human needs can be fulfilled by material, and this leads to the deprivation, exploitation, etc. The body is a material unit. Self is a unit of consciousness. Consciousness is characterized by the activity of the assuming and knowing. This knowing is the right understanding part. The response, that is recognition and fulfillment of the body, is definite. The response of the self, that is recognition and fulfillment, depends upon the assuming. If the assuming is based on the knowing, the response is definite and the conduct is definite. If the assuming is without knowing, the response is not definite, conduct is indefinite. So we have got 5 minutes. If there is any question on this.
Time முடிஞ்சிச்சு.
Yes. Assignments.
2 minutes more.
Yes. The assignments, the first one is that we'll be making, say in one of the assignments, we have to make a list of the desires. We can write down all our desires. For example, I want to build a home, I want to get the promotion, and like this. It may be 5, it may be 10, or it may be 20. We write down all our desires. And now take a list of the desires you have made and update it required. Now classify the desires as being related to need of the self or need of the body. If the desire appears to be related to both, look for the purpose and split into 2 or more sub-desires until you are able to see clearly whether the sub-desire is related to need of the self or need of the body. For example, now from this exercise, find out at least 2 key distinguishing features between the needs of the self and needs of the body, and roughly what percentage of your desires is related to needs of the self and what percentage is related to the needs of the body. Then make a list of your activities from the morning till the night. Some of these activities going on in you self. For example, now activities running, eating, thinking, feeling excited, heartbeat, blood circulation, other activities. And now check whether they are, you can say, in the self or in the body, or involving both the self and the body. And write down your observations regarding the activities of the self which do not involve the body. Can you see that these activities are continuous? Activities of the body, can you see that they involve some internal organs of the body like heart, blood vessels? Can you see that these activities are discontinuous or cyclic? Activities that involve both the self as well as the body, like climbing a staircase, in such activity, try to identify the role of the sense organs as well as the work organs. So we make a list of the activities and where they are going on. and the expected outcome is that students are able to relate desires of the self and the body distinctly.
Bhaiya,
Yes.
excuse